I was born in San Antonio, Texas. Oh, my first day of school, I'll never forget it. It was, I guess it was kindergarten or something. And the first day of school, this little kid comes up to me and punches me in the stomach. And I remember thinking, man, why would my parents put me here? What is going on? Why am I being tortured? I mean, I was in elementary school, and the teacher was going around asking all the kids who had talent, and if anybody wanted to be in a talent show. And I mean, I raised my hand. Hey, I can play the guitar, but I didn't know how to play the guitar. I raced home. Dad, I want to learn how to play the guitar. And he started teaching me, but I never got into the talent show. But that's when I officially started, learning to play the guitar. My first guitar. I think I'd helped my grandparents around their house for a long time and saved money. But my grandparents bought me this guitar. It was an Ibanez Artist. I remember before I got that guitar, I used to play this acoustic guitar, and I would put a microphone inside of the hole, and then plug that into this little tiny Gorilla amp, and that's how I would play the guitar. Yeah, and so when I finally got the electric guitar, it was like, wow, this is great. I love that guitar. It was my pride and joy, and I remember one weekend I had this friend that he wanted to borrow my guitar, and he said he would give me his bike for the weekend, but as soon as I gave him my guitar and I got on his bike, his whole bike just fell apart. Like the handlebars flew off, and then the seat came off, and then the tire flew off, and then as soon as I was like, man, hey, your bike fell apart, and he's like, well, I can't give you your guitar back. And so he wound up staying with my guitar. Man, to this day, that still makes me mad. That was my favorite guitar. The first blues song I learned was Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry. And I like playing that. But the first rock song I ever learned, I think, was everybody's first song is Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple. That was my first song, and man, I was so stoked that, wow, I'm playing, When we were growing up, when we each had a birthday, we would all get records. So, Kiss, Hotter Than Hell, Ozzy, Diary of a Madman, Grim Reaper, Judas Priest. My taste in music changed dramatically between the time I was 12 and 16. Back then everybody wanted to play like Randy Rhoads from Ozzy, and I spent a long time, trying to play like him. And then there was Eddie Van Halen, another rock god on the guitar. I used to like to play Ain't Talking About Love, and then then the Metallica days. Then I would learn Suicidal Tendencies, Slayer songs. It went from hair metal to death metal, And I just played all kinds of stuff. I used to play MOD, DRI. But then there was a time after that where I got tired of playing other people's songs, and I just, I was like, man, I'll just start making my own songs, San Antonio has always been pretty big on music. I mean, especially the rock scene. Like, the rock scene was pretty big in Texas, in San Antonio. But then again, the time that I grew up, like in the 80s, everybody wanted to dress like, a rock star, and You know, everybody wanted to be Eddie Van Halen or, you know, back when I was growing up, they used to have like surfers, heads, like for headbangers, jocks, I guess, whatever. But I was kind of neutral. I kind of like, I got along with everybody. I was in everybody's crowds all the time, you know. You know, like I always listened to rock music, heavy metal, whatever. I never really like portrayed that image too much. And I remember my friends used to be like, hey man, how come you don't rip up your jeans? How come you don't write on your shirt? How come you don't? In my mind, I was like, because I'm not a poser. You know, like, I'm just me. Like, I'm not a poser. I don't need to do anything. Like, I'm fine with who I am, you know. The first concert I ever went to was King Diamond. That was crazy because I had bought some tickets thinking that my friends would come with me, and nobody wanted to go. It blew my mind, but my dad was like, no son, you better go to that concert. So I went to that concert, and I'd never been to a rock concert before, but there's like people smoking weed and beer everywhere, and somebody gave me a beer, and I was just this kid, you know. I don't remember how old I was. I must have been like maybe 13. I don't know. I was pretty young, but I was blown away by the theatrics of that concert. You know, a lot of other bands, you know, they get up there and they play, but then when you add this theatrical element to it, like it takes it to a whole nother level. But I remember like he pushed this old lady out on stage with us in a wheelchair and like cut her neck or something, and it looked so real on stage. And I was just like, wow, that is insane. That concert totally put music into a whole nother perspective for me. I was in, you know, probably 16 when I started to try to sing. And I remember we had a microphone, and I remember that was right after, a little bit after Guns N' Roses came out, and like I was trying to mimic Axl Rose. And at the time I thought I sounded pretty close to him, but that was like when I first started to, you know, try to sing. But I was really a guitar player at that point. But, you know, after, you know, when we were kids and we all went our separate ways, I tried to, you know, make new bands, and, you know, I'd find drummers and bass players and, you know, people, and I always tried to find a singer. Right after I was starting to develop my vocal cords, my voice was getting pretty strong. I had wound up getting in some fight with this guy, and he choked me, and my vocal cords got kind of messed up. I'm not even sure they're the same today. For a long time, you know, after that happened, like, I had a hard time getting my voice out. Like, I couldn't even get it to come out. Like, even talking, like, I couldn't, like, something happened, but it definitely slowed me down there.
Mm.
Yeah, I was about, I don't know, 14, I guess, maybe 13. We used to have a band. Well, there was a couple of them. One was PALISA. That stands for Party Animals of San Antonio. Then I played in this other band called Aspect of Fate. Basically just the same band, just new name, and maybe we were a little better on the, you know, on the guitar or the instruments or whatever. And we used to play all the time, you know. We had a few originals, you know. That's right when I just started to write music. Probably wasn't the greatest songwriter, you know, like the structure of the song, you know, probably wasn't that great. But it was definitely a good experience, you know, like I wouldn't be doing, you know, what I'm doing now if it wasn't for them and that experience, you know. I remember we used to have this babysitter named Pam. She was really, really fat. And I remember she was so fat that she sat on my bed and it just collapsed. But anyways, my dad hired this babysitter for us, and every day she would make me eggs, and I hated them. And I told myself, man, as soon as this lady leaves, I'm never going to eat another egg in my life. And I've never have. Ever since then, I've hated eggs. My oldest memory that I think I can ever remember is this yellow chair. That's it. I remember this yellow chair.
What kind of chair was it?
Don't remember. It was just a yellow chair. I'll never forget it. I remember distinctively telling myself, as I got older, remember that yellow chair.
Yeah.
Like that's as far back I think as my memory goes, and I don't have any idea how old I was, but it's always stuck with me. You know, the thing about memories is, you know, that things always seem better in the past. You know, the present always seems vague and, you know, uncertain, you know.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, I don't know why, but even though, like, you know, everybody struggles throughout their entire life, but, you know, for some reason, when I look back on my past, I always remember the good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really remember how hard things were at times, even though things were hard at times. I just usually remember the good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like when you're a kid, you can, I mean, you have fun doing anything. You just walk outside and it turns into an adventure. But, I mean, when I think of memories, I think of, you know, back in the day, everything was so great, you know. But I don't think it is. I think that, you know, every day is another day with a new set of problems, and, you know, you just kind of get through it, you know. Some days are better than others. Some days you laugh more than others, you know. Some days you hurt more than others, you know. So I don't know, you know, but looking back on the past or memories, you know, life is, you know, for me has been just an ongoing journey of learning and how to deal with problems, and, you know, there's a lot of ups and there's a lot of downs, you know.
Yeah.